54321. What's up, everybody? Let me know that you guys can hear me. It feels like it's been forever since we were together. Parting is such sweet sorrow. How are you guys doing today? So nice to see you guys. See a lot of people in there. Man, I got a lot of topics. I mean, and how I usually do this is as I'm going throughout my day, throughout my week, little things will pop up, usually on the internet, and I'll be like, "Oh, I need to put this in here." So that's pretty much what I do. And first off, I'm gonna say some hellos to you guys. So nice to see you guys. Let me say, the chat is just maybe I should start from the bottom. I don't know. Haley Wright, what's up? How are you doing? I got a shout out for her. Dave Vanderhoff, how you doing? I'm going up. Christian Noper, Shelby Clark. It's like going up the escalator as the escalator's going down. I'm trying to run up the escalator, and I'm failing miserably. Slasher Pepper, what microphone do you use? It is a Tech. What is it? Tech. Let me see. Hold on just a sec. That's a good question. It's a nice one. I'll tell you that. I think I paid like $150 for it. I'm trying to find it here. Let me go into my settings here. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you the answer, okay? As a matter of fact, did I put... I didn't put this in my gear. Thank you for reminding me of that. On all my videos lately, I'm putting my gear in the info box, and I forgot to put my streaming mic in there. And this is probably one of my most valuable items. I love my freaking mic. It is an AT2020. I think it's Technica. Audio Technica AT2020. That is the mic. So, yeah, it's crystal clear. Hopefully it sounds crystal clear. I can't hear what you guys hear. So, hopefully it sounds nice and crisp for you guys, okay? Because they'll tell you too, those YouTubers, they'll tell you, audio, always more important than video. It's nice to have crisp video, but you could have the clearest picture ever. But as soon as you start talking and you sound like you're in a wind tunnel, people click right off of you. They just can't deal with it. Okay? Darth Vader. What's up, man? I like that name. Horn Coffee. Back for the attack. Dutch Von der Linde. I like that. That's a cool name. You guys have cooler screen names than I do. Drumdums sounds stupid. Holly Klein. How you doing? Yeah. I think I saw Alicia in there too. So, reviews and rankings with Robbie Sobel. I got a shout out for that guy too. That guy gets a big shout out. Robbie Sobel is the reason for that backdrop that's behind my video there, where you see Rocky and Drago going at it. That's all Robbie. He gets all the credit for that. He was on, and we'll get into that, but he was on Instagram, and we both follow Sly Stallone, as we should. All of you should follow Sly Stallone on Instagram. He actually has a really, really entertaining Instagram. I mean, he does like Q&As on there. He'll record himself just answering questions, and then he'll tell you guys put questions in the comments, and then he'll record another one. So it's really cool. There's Alicia right there, and then there's Ashley above her, and Kevin Whiteson, the movie nerd 95. All you great guys, great people. Tom Ungren, yeah. I don't know did you guys say, is Mikey Weiss in there? I gotta give him a big thank you. Mikey actually sent me this a case of Monster here, and this is 0 sugar. I don't know what flavor this is. I think it's the same flavor as what I get, but it's 0 sugar, and they're delicious actually. But the thing I like about them is you don't get the drop like you do with drinking the regular Monster, the green Monster like I usually drink. They give you a nice boost, but then you have a sharp drop off after, and you're just like, you feel like a bag of smashed assholes. So, this doesn't have that, which is nice. It's pretty awesome. Oh, there's Beth S. How you doing, Beth? You know what? Let me start off with my shout outs, because there's a couple shout outs I want to give. One of them is to Haley Wright. She sent me Trick and Nighthawks, and when I was doing my last unbox, I forgot who sent me Trick. And as soon as she'd said it, I was like, that's right, Haley did send me that. So Haley Wright, one of my patrons. Thank you so much. That was very kind. I'm really looking forward to watching. I mean, I love Nighthawks. Who doesn't love Nighthawks, right? Stallone. But I'm really looking forward to Trick because I've never seen it. And it's a Patrick Lussier movie. And I like Patrick Lussier. There's Mikey. You never know what you're going to get with Patrick Lussier. Yeah, buddy, I'm having one right now. I like them a lot too. Save the sugar for the Butterfingers. I did have a Butterfinger today, as a matter of fact. I should have bought one for this. I'll open it right now, though. And I'm foaming at the mouth. You know, I'm salivating. Oh, there it is. That magical sound. Drew Hintz, thank you so much. Hey, Lee, do you run Scary Flicks on Instagram? Is that a... Wait, hold on. I should wear glasses. Scay Flicks. Is that supposed to say Scary Flicks on Instagram? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that channel before. I am going to promote an Instagram channel on here, though, here in a few minutes. But we got 2 hours, right, guys? We don't have to freaking... We can pace ourselves, you know? Grab your drink. Let's all toast each other right now, okay? In honor of Mikey Weiss. Okay, Mikey Weiss, you beautiful specimen, you. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. That's good. That's good. There was, in that unbox, there was another one, Jason Mallory. He sent me this decal. And Jason, if you're around, or if you see this after, I apologize. The decal didn't really show up that well on camera, but I did find a spot for it. And I'm going to show my lovely audience here who just hit 100 viewers. That's awesome. I'm going to show them where I put that decal. So hold on just a second. So yeah, there's where I put it. You can see it right there. It's on the side of my VHS shelf. Isn't that great? And there's my ring light right above it. So now you guys know how I light myself in these streams. With that ring light right there and that ring light right there. That's like is that a 6-inch? Yeah, that's like a 6-inch ring light, and that's an 18-inch. So yeah. Yeah. I got to give full credit to Dave McCray, too, for the ring light. I got jealous. I was watching Dave McCray's so professional live stream. He makes us all jealous with his live streams. And I was like, I sent him a message. I was like, Dave, how do you make your face like so bright? And you know, because when you look at mine looked like the Walmart dollar bin. That's what my streams used to look like. And he was like, oh, yeah, I got 2 ring lights up top. And I was like, I should have known that. So I actually had a ring light that I got for Christmas a couple years ago. I dug it out of the garage and I just stuck it up there on the shelf. It's not even like it's so unprofessional. There's not even like a stand. It's just kind of propped up behind Iron Man up there. But then the other one, I got that in the mail probably like 6 months ago. So, because if you light, you want to light the right and the left, right? You don't, for some reason, I don't like light in the middle because then you got that light like right there in your face, you know? I do this a lot, you know, a lot of stuff with my hands. So I like to have right and the left so that way when I'm looking at you guys, I don't have a light just like glaring right at me. I hate that. Plus, you get even light distribution. So, yes. Yeah, Horton Coffee, he uses a ring light. He's got a channel. Check out his channel. Hot here too. The humidity is awful. Holly Klein, I know. Jesus, it's been really, really freaking hot. Matt Malikocchio, he says, Lee, I'm confused how a Rocky IV director's cut can come out when I'm sure Stallone released the cut he wanted. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I would say more times than not, studio interference gets in the way, and the cut that you see, what we know as the theatrical cut, more times than not, that's not the director's final cut. You know, if he had his laurels about him and he could have everything that he wanted out of the cut of his movie, I'm probably sure that the theatrical cut, there's a little bit to be desired there in terms of the director. I can't talk right now. It's really hard. Let me take another drink. Ronnie Den, nice to see you back. He says, have you seen Fight Club? Have I seen Fight Club? Oh my God. I saw Fight Club for the first time last night, and after 2 hours, I shut it off from boredom. Are you kidding me, Ronnie? Ronnie, are you kidding me? Are you guys going to set Ronnie straight, or do I have to? Jesus. Ronnie, I'm not gonna be hard on you, because I am the worst. I'm the most guilty culprit of being wishy-washy with movies. Okay, I do get a little bit passionate with movies. I can watch them the first time and be completely over the moon, like what happened with the H Word. It came out in 2018. We won't say it. We won't say it in here. Okay, but I lost my shit when that movie came out. And then I evened out, okay? I will say, in your defense, Fight Club, some might see it as a polarizing film. But Fight Club's one of my favorite movies, actually. It's amazing. And I would say, give it another shot. Maybe let it breathe a little bit, but then give it... Oh my... Holly, you haven't seen Fight Club? Jesus. By the way, Fight Club is my daughter's favorite movie. All time. That's her all-time favorite movie. It's in my top 20 for sure. And that's why I haven't reviewed Fight Club yet. Because A, you don't talk about Fight Club. And B, I wanted to save that review for my daughter. I want her to review it with me. So, she's actually moving into her... she's moving into a new house with her husband in a couple weeks, finally. And I know they live in this like little 1-bedroom apartment. And so now they're so happy. But yeah, Haley, right? You're keeping me on board. So I gave Haley a shout out. The next shout out goes to Ethan Rowe, who has a channel. Ethan, if you're in there, light a beacon. Let us know your channel, because I don't remember your channel name. But Ethan asked if I could give him a shout out in the stream, and absolutely, Ethan's one of the nicest guys you could ever talk to too. Just a sweetheart of a guy. Speaking of sweetheart of a guy, Chris Salisbury, how you doing, brother? My Spooky Empire brother. He says, I would get on him, but you know the first rule of Fight Club. Exactly. Okay. Now, the last shout out that I want to give is for Garrett Vincent. Garrett actually sent me House That Jack Built, the Lars von Trier film that I haven't seen yet. And he has another page, and he's got an Instagram page, and I wanted to promote it. So let me go over here to this other screen so that way I can promote his page. Did I put it on here? Let me see. Hold on. No, it's not on there. We're going to get... That's funnies. We're going to get to... Even though that's not funny, we're going to get to that. Let me... Hold on. Let me pull that up real quick. So I want to... Yeah, here we go. Give me a second, guys. Okay, so I put it on Bloody Disgusting. Here is his... He's got like a rock and metal Instagram page. And like I said, I wish I had my glasses. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit, and you probably won't mind. But the name of his page is called Jenny, Izzy, Maria, Amy, Ash Cobra. And he's got 2 Instagram pages. One of them's Garrett Vincent, and the other one is that. And it's specifically for just rock and metal, which that's awesome to me. That's right up my alley. That lovely female right there, that is Maria Brink from In This Moment. I saw them in concert a couple times, actually. But man, she's got some pipes on her. She can scream, she can sing. She doesn't really scream as much anymore, because when In This Moment started out, see, we've already jumped onto a little bit of music. I said there's going to be some music in these streams. But yeah, when they first started out, they were more of, what would you call that? It's a core. It's like a metalcore. They were more of a metalcore band. And then eventually they started getting more mainstream. And that's kind of what they are now. I think with the Blood album, that's when they started getting more mainstream. So, let me go back over here. I'm trying to navigate you guys. Move you around. And I don't see, is my chat, oh yeah, my chat's still going. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. But yeah, definitely check out his Instagram page. Like I said, I'll show it one more time to you guys. So that way, there it is. Yeah. Jenny _ Izzy _ Maria _ Amy _ Ash Cobra. And I've checked out his page. A lot of cool stuff over there too. So if you're into metal, you definitely want to go that page. And he really likes to showcase a lot of like female-led metal bands, which is really cool. Kind of like Hailstorm, stuff like that. What's one of the other bands I was listening to the other day? But I like female metal bands, or I guess female singer metal bands, if that makes sense. So anyway, yeah, let me go back over here. Okay. And he also, I want to read. I dropped my troll. He also sent me a letter that I didn't actually see when I did the unboxing. I told him I'd read it on here. It says, "Hey Lee, it's your buddy Garrett Vincent. I've been a fan of your channel for over a year now, and I wanted to say thanks for all the great videos and live streams. I remember hearing you say once that you had not seen the house that Jack built, so I decided to send you the theatrical cut that came with my director's cut. I hope you like it. It's certainly a divisive film, and maybe one day you can review it if you get the time." Yeah, I definitely plan on reviewing that one, actually. We'll talk about Lars von Trier in just a minute. Also, it would be a big help to give a shout out to my hard rock heavy metal fan page on Instagram, Jenny, Izzy, Maria, Amy, Ash Cobra. By the way, thanks for following the page. And since you're a metal fan like me, I know you'll enjoy the band Devil Skin. For a second, I thought of Devil Driver, which the lead singer used to be in Coal Chamber. Which Coal Chamber's they were a good band. So Devil Driver's pretty decent too, though. I can't recommend them enough. The singer, Jenny Skulander, will blow you away. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the movie. Keep rocking on, big guy. Cool. Thank you, Garrett, man. You're awesome. I don't know if Garrett's in there. I don't think he is. I was going to say something about music. So, the last live stream we did, if you remember at the end of it, I played some songs, because I like letting you guys hear songs. And I think the mistake I made was I actually pulled it up on YouTube right here on OBS and played it. Well, of course, I got hit with a massive copyright thing. And so it blocked the video. And I had to literally remove 4 different songs from the video. So, Craig Adams 667. Thank you, good sir. Favorite Rat song or album? First off, I am a massive, massive Rat fan. And I can't believe I've never told you guys that. I guess I'm coming out as a Rat fan. But, man, in the 80s, I will say, and here's my answer to your question. Out of the Cellar, pound for pound, one of the best 80s rock albums out there. There's not a single bad song on that album. It kind of reminded me of when Beth just sent me AC/DC Back in Black. I think that's their Back in Black. Of course, it hasn't sold as many copies as Back in Black, but man, Out of the Cellar, that's an album right there. If you have to have one Rat album, you gotta have Out of the Cellar. Now my favorite Rat song is probably You're in Love, which is not on Out of the Cellar. That's actually on the next one, Invasion of Your Privacy. Round and Round's a good song though. Hex Boom, yes. Round and Round's their big hit. He got I think it's his cousin or something. Milton Berle was in the video. Milton Berle kind of helped Rat get known too through that video, because this was when MTV really started kicking off, and MTV helped a lot of bands back in the day. And Rat was one of those bands with that video for Round and Round. Way Cool Jr., crew member. Yeah, man, Way Cool Jr.'s, if I had to do top 5 Rat songs, Way Cool Jr. would be in there. That's just a cool song, It's not the heaviest song. It's not the fastest song. But it's proof that a good song is a good song, no matter what the pace, no matter what. It's just awesome. And I love Way Cool Jr. It's just got this bluesy vibe to it. I love the video for that song. It's great. Lay It Down. There's another great one. Lay It Down. That's off. I think Lay It Down. That's also off of. It's either Dance, or Invasion of Your Privacy. I think Lay It Down. Is that on Dancing Undercover? You help me out there. I think it's on Lay It Down. No, it's on Invasion of Your Privacy. Yeah. I listened to a lot of Rat back in the 80s growing up. I mean, I prefer Rat over Motley Crue. I really do. And I know crew members going to hate me for that. He's probably leaving right now. But I do. I love Rat. I really do. I think Stephen Pearcy's got such a cool voice. And he's just one of those very unique frontmen. You know, say what you want about Vince Neil, because people always rag on Vince Neil, as they should today, because the guy can't get more than 2 syllables out because he's just always breathing heavy. But Vince, back in the day, had a very cool signature voice. Todd Fayer, thank you so much, man. He's got a Halloween Kills question. Let me jump over there. Let me answer his Halloween Kills question. That's always fun. Okay, do you think since Halloween Kills will most likely be delayed, Blumhouse can get a real director to remake Halloween Kills like a director that knows how to make a horror movie? That sounds like a jab. Little bit of a jab to David Gordon Green. I take it Todd wasn't a fan of Halloween 2018. I think David Gordon Green's a good director. I do. I don't think he's John Carpenter. But I do think he's a good director, and I think he had some good ideas for that movie. I like the way some of those scenes are directed. It's not a perfect movie, but I think David Gordon Green did a good job. And from what I am hearing, the buzz I'm hearing about Halloween Kills, I mean, all the credit has to go to David Gordon Green if this lives up to the hype. So I'm fine with David Gordon Green staying in the chair for Kills and Ends, if I'm being honest, you know? And let's be honest here, okay? We're talking about a trilogy, okay? The first of the trilogy being Halloween 2018, and I think, and not everybody's going to agree with me on this, but even if you think Halloween 2018 is just a mediocre movie, it set a good foundation for the first part of a trilogy, you know? And I'll even say that if you don't like Halloween 2018, maybe there's something about Kills and Ends that kind of brings you around to Halloween 2018. Have you ever guys ever had that happen where you go back after a trilogy and you appreciate the first movie even more? Because that's kind of what happened with the Dark Knight trilogy for me. You know, after it was all said and done, I went back and I really appreciated Batman Begins even more. After, you know, because you get the entire story. You know, it's one story, it's a trilogy. So I think that's kind of the same deal with this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Jason Nike, I watched your Jaws review today, man. Good job. And I think that was Jason's very first review. I like that you were talking about that opening scene with the actress, and you know how her performance was really underrated. Because I mean, you're right. If you think about it, there wasn't a shark in that water. They had a rig to pull her around, but still, she had to project. She had to, you know, emote and all that stuff. And I mean, everybody that saw that scene, they bought it. She was really just that convincing. So I'm glad you made a point to mention that in your review. It was a good review, though. I mean, you know, first review, it must feel good too. You know, you popped your review cherry. You're on your way now. You know, I just had somebody ask me today, got any tips? You know, and what you did, Jason, you dove in. That's the first step. You know, once you dive in, boom, you're there. Then I think once you do that first review, the rest of the reviews, they're still a bitch. They're still really hard, but at least you can look back. You have something to measure yourself on, you know? Okay, I did it. Let's do another, and let's do another. The first one's always the toughest. And boy, Jason, was it tough? I'm sure it was, man. I think the good thing about Jason, too, is he did a couple videos before he did his review. He did a couple, like, I think you did some, like, unbox videos, or, you know, you showed off some of your movies or something like that. I think that was smart, because I didn't do that. I just dove headfirst right into reviewing a movie. And I wish I would have actually kind of just did, like, maybe a vlog type video first. Something to get my feet wet a little bit. But, hey, you did it, man. I'm proud of you. You did really good. Kevin Whitman, he says, hey, could you see And I got some funnies for you guys too. Do you guys still like the funnies, or do you want to skip the funnies? I worked hard to get you guys some good funnies though, so I hope you say yes. Oh my God, Ease2184's got a good question too. Okay, let me do this one first. Okay, Kelvin Whitman. Hey, Lee, could you see Bane from The Dark Knight Rises as a horror villain in any way? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it seems like studios these days, especially with like the Snyder Cut and all that stuff, they're not afraid to try things that they wouldn't try, say, even 5 years ago. And I think you can kind of give Marvel credit for this too, with what they started with Iron Man. Iron Man opened up a lot of doors and a lot of possibilities for studios to maybe try things that they wouldn't try before, So I think anything's possible. Do I think we're going to see Bane in a horror movie? Probably not, but there are comic horror stories that have superheroes in them, like Aquaman. There's a line of comics, and I'm not a comic reader, so I'm no expert, but I know that there's a line of comics in Aquaman that have, like, I think they're like fish zombies or something like that. There was a small scene in the Aquaman movie, and it happens to be my favorite scene in the movie, where they had there's a name for them too, I can't remember, but there's like fish zombies or something like that. Now let me go back up here. Because he had a good question. I remember what the question was, so I don't have to go back up. He was saying Cinderella or Warrant. Here's a funny thing. I seen both bands in concert within months of each other when I was stationed in Panama City, Florida. I want to say around 95, 96, somewhere around there. I saw Cinderella and I saw Warrant, 2 different concerts. And it was really cool. I loved both bands. This was after Nirvana, of course. So both bands weren't what they were a few years before. This is when they were really roughing it and having to play smaller venues. But it didn't take anything away from the performance. If anything, I think it added to it. They were hungry again. And both shows were really awesome, if I'm being honest. If I had to pick a favorite, I think I had the best time at the Warrant show. But I think the production was a little better with Cinderella. Like Cinderella, they're just a really talented band. Tom Kiefer, that's a great singer. Tom Kiefer has such a unique voice. But I was always a Warrant fan too, actually. I actually like the first album. There's songs on all 3 of the first 3 albums that I like. I was a Warrant fan. I even bought the albums, what was the record label that picked up all those bands after they were dropped? It's been so long, but I picked up those other albums, Ultraphobic, which is a really good album, actually. The production value's not up to what, say, Cherry Pie is, but Ultraphobic has some really good songs on it, and it's when they went a little heavier with their sound, But Jani Lane, he's a good writer. He can write good songs, actually. As a matter of fact, I remember Jani Lane talking about Cherry Pie, the song Cherry Pie, and how he just completely hated the song. It wasn't even on the album. First single on the album was going to be Uncle Tom's Cabin. And then the record company, they said, we need a hit. We want you to write something. And he ended up writing Cherry Pie. And we all know the story. Cherry Pie was this huge hit, but Jani Lane was saying, I could put a bullet in my head. That's a literal line. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in Jani Lane Cherry Pie, and it's not pretty. He hated that song. Rest in peace. He died in 2011, I think. But you know what? Cherry Pie, as much as he hated that song, it didn't hurt their career. That was a huge song. And then they still use it to this day in commercials and TV and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I went off on a rant here, didn't I? And Cinderella, I was actually a really big Cinderella fan too. Long Cold Winter was the album that really hooked me. Although I love Night Songs. Night Songs that's a great album. Nobody's Fool. Nobody's Fool is probably one of the best ballads of the 80s. I like a good ballad that's like, it's not cheesy. You know, there's also like a little bit of a dark edge to it. That's Nobody's Fool. Nobody's Fool is not a cheesy ballad at all. It's a great song. That's what it comes down to. Dave Vanderhoff says there's a great Warrant concert on YouTube. I'll send you the link back in their heyday. Yeah, and I was actually checking out a Warrant concert. I don't know if it's the same one that you're going to send me, but I was checking out. There was a Warrant concert, and it was, I think, 91 or something like that. And yeah, it was definitely back in their heyday. All 5 original members were in the band at the time. So, yeah, good stuff, though. And 32 Pennies. I always like that song, 32 Pennies. I don't know. There's something about that first album, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. There's some good tracks on that album, you know? Hall & Oates or Tears for Fears. Man, Ease 2184, he's throwing some good ones at me. I love both. God, that's a tough one. Because if I had to pick the songs, Tears for Fears, Shout's one of my all-time favorite songs. Period. End of story. Shout. Drumdums top 10 favorite songs. Shout. It's like number 1 or number 2 or number 3, somewhere in there. That's how great that freaking song is. So, I guess I'd probably give the edge to Tears for Fears. 2 totally different types of bands too. But I love some good Hall & Oates. As far like good driving music, man, Hall & Oates has got some great driving music. I like some of their later 80s stuff too, when they started getting a little bit more poppy. I don't know, it's really catchy. Yeah. Now here's a band I'm going to throw at you guys, and you let me know in the comments, because you know I like to give you questions too. What do you think about White Lion? Because nobody ever talks about White Lion. But I really dug White Lion. Mike Tramp was a great singer, actually. He's still doing it too, actually. He's still, doing the club circuits and all that stuff, roughing it. But man, back in the day, as far as like studio albums and putting an album together and having just a really, thick, in the pocket type of sound, White Lion, man, especially their second and third album. Or I guess it technically would be their third and fourth album, because nobody even acknowledges their first album, because their first album, to really make it big, had Weight on it. So nobody even acknowledges the one before that. I can't remember the name of it, but I like White Lion. Yeah, they had some good stuff. When the Children Cry, that's another great ballad. Now the song I would recommend to you guys, if you want something heavy by White Lion, check out Lights and Thunder. It's like the open track on their third album. Let's see, Big Game was their second album, which also has some really awesome tracks. But their third album, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll have to look it up for you. George Heiselman says, I hope I said that name right. Hold on. We're still going to get the funnies too, guys. Hold on. George Heilman, he says, what's the loudest band you've seen? I have an answer for that. Mine are Motorhead, AC/DC, and Sun O. I don't know that last one. I've heard Motorhead is probably one of the loudest bands ever. Oh, I'm going to answer. Brittany Fox, that's another band I was really into. Okay, the loudest band I've ever seen in concert personally was Strapping Young Lad. End of story, easy answer. Man, I saw them in concert in a small club back in Spokane, Washington. The lead singer has a skullet. You cannot forget this guy. If you see him, he's etched in your brain for life. He has a skullet, bald head on top, long hair in the back. And man, he has a presence. He's got like that gene. Let me show you. Hold on. He's got like that Gene Simmons presence, he's got his arms out and his legs out. You can't see my legs right now, but he's got the guitar and he's got his mic right there, and he just like opens his mouth as loud as possible and just, projects like, wow. And the audience in front of him, their hair, if they have any, is just completely being blown back because of his vocal range. It's insane. Look him up. Strapping Young Lad. Jesus, if you've never heard of them, Devin Townsend, that's it. Yeah, Devin Townsend. Jesus, man, what a freaking front man. That's a guy that earns his freaking money. Thank you, Kelvin Whitman. Let me go back up here. Hold on. You get me talking about Strapping Young Lad, man. That was a great show. I saw that at this show where it was more like, Kill Switch Engage, stuff like that. And Strapping Young Lads, they're different than Kill Switch Engage. They're just freaking. They're not there to entertain you. They're there to scare the fuck out of you, and that's what they did. And they did it awesomely. Craig Adams, maybe set up a second channel about rock and metal. That would be. I've thought about it, but man, just the idea of starting back up another channel. So I figure what I would do is just exclusively do that on these streams, because I could talk music with you guys all day. So I think I got George. I don't see another question from George. But yeah, if I know some of you guys are here, Bullet Boys. Oh my God, you guys are killing me. I freaking Smooth Up In You, man. Smooth Up In You. Another great singer there. And I know some of you are here for horror. And when I mix my horror fans with my metal fans, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. And sometimes they work together, but then sometimes they don't. I don't know. So I'm hoping you guys are, Smooth Up In You, man. That's a freaking. So you know what? We're gonna play Smooth Up In You. So here's how I get away with it. Okay, I break out my phone here. And like we did with Bush, okay? We're going to cheat. Don't tell anybody, okay? Don't go tell the copyright police, okay? We're going to cheat. We're going to keep this quiet. And we're going to play Smooth Up In You. And it's worth it, okay? I don't know what that song means, by the way. All right, hold on. Thank God I have Spotify. I'm telling you, if just pay the $5 a month. And you can type in any freaking song you want. And I'm not getting paid by Spotify. I'm just trying to help out my metal brethren. If you'd been to Ozfest, Kevin Whitman. No, I always wanted to go to Ozfest, but for some reason I always missed it. I always went to Rockville. I've been to Rockville probably like 5 times now. And it's because it's close, but also, you get to see every band that you could possibly imagine. There's like 24 bands every year at Kingdom Come. David Catone. I'm gonna throw this. I gotta walk away. God damn it, you guys! Freaking Kingdom Come. Jesus. Let me show you something about Kingdom Come. Hold on, just a sec. Damn it, it's in the other room. I have Kingdom Come on vinyl. My voice cracked. And I'll take a picture of that vinyl and I'll post it on Instagram so you guys can see it, okay? Because I don't want to go all the way in the other room to dig up Kingdom Come, and then you guys are sitting here waiting. I don't want to do that to you guys, all right? But Kingdom Come's first album, man, that's an album right there. Living Out of Touch. Oh, man. I got to turn on my air. Hold on just a sec. We're still doing Smooth Up In You, okay? Just hold on just a sec. We haven't even gotten to funnies yet. I haven't even gotten to the news yet. This is your fault. It's not mine, guys, okay? You're gonna say that was the shittiest stream I've ever been to. All he did was talk about his stupid music, and we didn't get to the freaking stories that I wanted to talk about. But, you know what? We got to play Smooth Up In You. Sorry. Here we go. Hold on. Typing it right now. Bullet Boys. And speaking of Rocky 4, we're going to get to Rocky 4, okay? Bullet for My Valentine does a cover of No Easy Way Out. Definitely check that out if you get a chance. That's really good. Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me turn it up. You can't not smile when you hear that. Everybody sing along. Let's sing together. We'll get to the chorus together, okay? You're not my type if you don't give in. I want to dance so bad right now. Oh, God, here we go. Was that everything you guys wanted or what? Was that worth it? And for some of you that haven't heard that song, you're welcome. Okay? Bullet Boys, Smooth Opinion. That's how you make music. They don't do that today. If you played that to some pansy boys today, they'd go in a corner and they would put their thumb in their mouth and they would apologize, and I wouldn't even know what they're apologizing for. But that's fucking music, okay? I don't care what you call it. That's it. All right? Jesus. I can't talk. Hold on. Okay. All right. You guys ready for funnies? You want to do some funnies? Jesus, it's 8:43 already. Holly says, dance. Dance, motherfucker. Baby, we can dance, dance, dance. All right, yeah. Jesse dance. I'm not going to do that. Maybe next time. If we do like a Nightmare on Elm Street 2, like we might just do a whole episode and dedicate it to Nightmare 2. And we'll just like celebrate that freaking awesome movie. And maybe I'll do the Jesse dance. Okay? We'll see. Maybe I'll like, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. You guys ready for some funnies? We're going to do some funnies. Man, that was fun. I love talking music with you guys. Jesus. All right. And you know what's funny is I actually have like some bands that I wrote down here in my phone that I didn't even get to yet. Okay. I was going to talk about Silverchair and I was going to talk about Smashing Pumpkins because those are two bands I love too. But we'll get to those later. Okay. We'll get to them. All right. Dangerous Toys, Winger, LA Guns, Dangerous Toys, Winger, LA Guns, or Winger. So I think Devin really likes Winger. Winger gets a bad rap. I don't think Winger's nearly as bad as people make them out to be. I think Lars Ulrich and Metallica are a big reason and bandwagoning. But Rod Morgenstein would play fucking circles around Lars Ulrich on the drums, by the way. Rod Morgenstein, one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet and one of the greatest drummers you will ever see. I'm telling you. Rod Morgenstein, he was also in the Dixie Dregs, which is a completely different type of band, like a progressive, I guess they're like a fusion type of band or something like that. Like he could play jazz. He's that good of a drummer. So, and Winger had some catchy tunes in there. She's Only 17. Would that song be released today? Could they get away with it? I don't know. Not in today's climate. Not with what happened with Chris D'Elia. Jesus. I don't think so. Skid Row, big fan of Skid Row. Big fan. I wish they'd get back with Sebastian Bach. I saw Skid Row, but it was without Sebastian Bach. So that really doesn't count. And it really didn't count at all. Like, Sebastian is an amazing singer. Amazing singer. So there's like a YouTube video of him doing 18 in Life, and I think it's only a few years ago, and he's still, I don't know if there's backing tracks or if there's like some pre-recorded tracks or something like that, but man, he sounded great live, and I'm hoping to God that was really live. So, all right. I'm a drummer wife, and my hubby constantly drums in the car. Do you? Yeah, I'm the guy with my hands on the steering wheel, and I'm constantly like doing like this as I'm driving. I can't help it. It's just drummers can't help it, you know. Dino, what's up, brother? Says stopping in for support. Catch this stream later. Drago. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to Rocky yet. We're going to get to Rocky. Freaking love Rocky. But we're going to do funnies right now, okay? Okay. Yes, I saw Asking Alexandria in concert. And I have the album that I really love by them. Let me pull it up right here. Yeah, this song, it's got Breathless and To the Stage. Let me see if I can. Isn't that badass? Yeah, they're a badass band. I love Asking Alexandria, but I've only listened to like their first 2 albums, I think, and then I haven't listened to anything since. Oh my God, Steelheart! You just mentioned Steelheart. Jesus, you want to hear a badass freaking song by Steelheart? Oh my God, God, I have a Steelheart story too. We'll get to the funnies. I got to talk about this. This is good stuff. Thank you, Haley, for mentioning Steelheart. Wait, let me get these super chats real quick. Sorry about that. Hold on. We got to talk about Steelheart. Do not let me forget to talk about Steelheart. Okay, I got a story for you. All right, Bobby Williams, thank you so much. He says, dude, I watched the Thing prequel yesterday and I woke up this morning and lo and behold, your review is up. You know what? I get messages like that all the time, comments like that all the time saying, I just watched this movie and then you just reviewed it. And I think that's so cool. That's so cool. Kevin Wilman says the rock song in Curse of Michael Myers, Brother Can. Yeah, And Full Shine On. That's on my phone right now. I love And Full Shine On. I love the sound. Just the music from Halloween 6 is a big reason why I love it so much. Actually, gives me the most Halloween. As a matter of fact, I have a drum cover of And Full Shine On. God, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but if you look, you know what? I'll show you a little bit of it. Hold on just a sec. I have a drum cover of that. Hold on. Let me pull up YouTube. I got news stories. I got all kinds of stuff. Man, here we go. Hold on. I'm not forgetting about that Steelheart story though. I got a good Steelheart story for you guys. Okay, I saw Steelheart at their last concert from the original band, and I'll tell you why. Okay, some of you might know why. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so here you go. I'll play you a little bit of this, all right? This is a cover I did 2 years ago, actually. That was before I shaved when I was in the military.
It's so easy to believe in you. I believed in you. Your intention, my addiction. Fear no evil.
I look like
You'll be safe in here. I was saved in here. Shadow.
2015. Yeah, that's 2015. Jesus. Is it really 5 years ago? Wow. Okay, let me go back over here. Yeah, that's 5 years ago, guys. Jesus. But yeah, that was a good time. That was a real good time. Okay, now let's talk about Steelheart, okay? Steelheart. I saw Steelheart open for Slaughter back in Beth said stick play. That's funny. I saw Steelheart. I just knocked my freaking thing out of my ear. Back with Slaughter back in '92. I believe it was '92, and I was excited. I mean, I'm a Slaughter fan, but I'm also a really big Steelheart fan. I mean, Mike, how you say his last name? Mečević? Mike Mečević? I'm sure I'm butchering his last name, but man, what a singer! Like, wow, what a freaking singer! But he was a little drunk when they were doing their show, and I still remember the song they were doing. Their second album had just come out, which is great, by the way. There's a song off their second album called Steelheart. It's like the title of the song is the name of the band, but man, that's a ferocious song. But I wish they would have played that live. But they were playing this song, Dancing in the Fire, which is, I think, the last song off the second album. And then they were about to go into I'll Never Let You Go, which was their big radio hit from the previous album. And all of a sudden, the crowd starts getting louder. And the reason they're getting louder is because there's this big lighting structure. Let's say it's 20 feet tall. And it just, these big aluminum lighting structures that you see at these concerts. And this sucker just started swaying. And it started swaying like almost like a pendulum, just farther and farther. And the crowd just started getting louder and louder. And Mike Mečević, he doesn't know what the hell's going on. He thinks the audience is like getting loud for him. And so he looks up, and it was too late. When he looked up, he saw that it was coming down towards him, and he takes off running. And it flattened him like a pancake. Like, it was scary. Like, he could have died. Who knows? Everybody was like freaking out. Everybody was screaming. This thing, I mean, like I said, it landed on him and flattened him like a pancake. And from what I heard after, it like broke his arm or something like that. And he got like some back injuries and whatnot. But I remember after they pulled him up and took him off, and he was pissed off, as he would be. He was drunk, luckily. But that was, from what I read on like Wikipedia, that was the last Steelheart concert of their original lineup. He took off for years, and then he finally got back into the game, and he ended up doing the soundtrack to Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg. That's his voice on some of the songs. But man, what a voice. But I'll never, ever forget that night. I missed another super chat. Hold on. Thank you, Holly. Let me go back up here. That was an insane night. And it's on YouTube. If you look up Steelheart, like type in Steelheart accident or something like that, you'll find it. But it was crazy. Have you seen Dolly Dearest? What did you think? I have not seen Dolly. I've heard of it. I haven't seen Dolly Dearest yet, though, Jeff. I'll check it out, though. Big Tesla fan. I saw somebody mention Tesla. I freaking love Tesla. Kevin Whitman. That rocks. Oh no, he already mentioned that. So if I missed any super chats, maybe just type in all caps the super chat again. Like if I missed one of your questions, because I went up and I didn't see it. So, man, you guys get me talking about music though. Okay, now let me go over here. Let's do some funnies, all right? Let's do some... Jesus, it's almost 9 o'clock already. We haven't even gotten to funnies yet. This is insane. Kung Fu, you rock too, brother. You rock too. So does Lane Staley. Jesus, man. Lane Staley, one of the greatest voices in rock ever. All right, so... Let me go over here. Funny. Okay, here we go. Funnies. All right. Some of these aren't going to be funny. Some of them are going to be kind of cool. This first one is this poster that Troy Candy on Twitter tagged me on. He's like, dude, you got to see this poster. And I'd never seen that poster before, and it's Rocky running up the mountain, and the mountain is Drago, which is really freaking awesome, actually. That's a cool looking poster. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's see where we go. Okay, yeah, so let's close that one. Next one. This is one that Daniel Peters, I thought was kind of funny. He posted it. It says, "Thank you for that save, Jake. I mean, of course, the prequel didn't use CGI, it's practical effects." And what that means is the beginning of my review, I said they wouldn't be so stupid to try to remake or try to make another Thing movie and use CGI effects, would they? And I said, right. And so then he made this a little funny. But it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Because Tom Holland's always like getting himself in trouble because he opens his mouth and he says something that he spoils everything. So I thought it was funny. Okay, here we go. Next one. This is current right here. Okay, you talk about current events. This is crazy. So I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's this a lawyer. I think they're a lawyer couple. And they're standing in front of their mansion, and all these protesters are coming by, and they come outside with their God-given right to hold their guns and protect their property. And so I'm not poking fun of them for protecting their property. Of course, that's their Second Amendment right. It's kind of awesome actually. But what's funny about it is the way they're dressed. They look like, I don't know, like he looks like, he's got the polo shirt and the slacks. It looks like he just came from the office. So I thought that straight out of Applebee's. I thought it was kind of funny. Okay. And there's another one, like it's already a meme now, okay? And I'm going to show you what I mean. People have already taken this story, this image, and they've created stuff like that. And I don't know if you guys are on 9gag. 9gag's like a funny app. There's a ton of like funny apps out there, and one of them that I use is 9gag. But you can find so much funny stuff on there. If you use those apps, then to go to the comments to find the really, really funny stuff. There's the funny stuff, and then I'm like, I got to go to the comments. I got to see what people are saying, and then they post even funnier stuff in the comments. So it's hilarious. But yeah, he's already a meme. He should get that framed and put on his wall. He's a suburban commando, pretty much. Okay, next. This was one that Alicia posted. It says, "I'm shy at first, but once I'm comfortable with you, get ready for some crazy shit." And no movie encompasses like horror fans. Like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into, because you know how we horror fans we're quiet, we're introverts. But then when we're around each other, it's a different animal. And so no movie encompasses that more than Sleepaway Camp. If you're trying to like get that point across. Yeah, Mikey. 2020 memes. They're like, I was scrolling 9gag and I was like, oh, I gotta show them this. I gotta show them this. I gotta show them this. Oh man, great stuff. Okay, next one. I got a bunch of them for you guys today. I'm gonna try to roll through them, okay? Because I know sometimes I take too long on them. Okay, next one. This is one that Beth actually shared. It's if Rocky 4 happened today. And let me open the picture for myself because I can't read. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know. Yeah, it says, if Rocky 4 happened today, gentlemen, on my instruction, do not touch gloves and maintain an appropriate social distance in your respective corners for the duration of the fight. Right? When are we going to have another boxing match? I guess you could have a boxing match as long as they're tested, right? I don't know. We're going to talk about theaters, too. I got some stuff to say about theaters, too. But this kind of goes along, like sporting events, concerts, theater, restaurants, all that stuff concerning what's going on today. This was kind of funny. My good buddy Dan Wolf. I met Dan at what was it? Hollywood Studios. Me and Dan have been friends for probably 4 or 5 years now. No, probably like 4 years. I met Dan through Killer Flicks, and he is a big radio producer in Chicago. And we became fast friends, and it's like impossible to not be fast friends with Dan because he's just one of the funniest guys you could ever talk to. So he actually came down, and I was like, dude, we got to meet up if we end up being in the same place. And of course we got to meet up. We were talking and everything. It was so cool. But he's always just one of the funniest guys you could ever talk to. He's just so funny. But he's a big Halloween 3 fan. Who isn't, right? And it's like, Cochran is a great man. Mask company to donate millions of masks. Could you see Cochran doing that too? I could totally see Cochran doing that. Let me close this down. Hold on. All right, so I got more. Hold on, I got more. I think you guys are having a good time with these. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next one. Okay, this isn't really funny. It's just like it just blows my mind that there are people out there that choose to believe that this is a conspiracy. Like, are you fucking serious? But like, literally, people are dying every day. So I saw this on this is on 9gag actually, but it was from Twitter. It says, if you or a loved one has been refused entry to a private business or not. God, I can't talk. If your loved one has been refused entry to a private business for not wearing a mask and you would like to explore legal options to protect your constitutional rights, my lawyer friends and I are happy to explain just how fucking stupid you are. Pro bono. And I hate to bring you guys down, but the reason I say that too is because there was this guy today on Killer Flicks, and his grandmother just died of COVID-19. His name was Gary. I don't know if he wants me to say his last name, so I won't say his last name, but his name was Gary. So Gary, if you hear this, I'm so sorry, man, but his grandmother died of freaking COVID-19. So when it hits you directly at home, then I think you take it a little bit more seriously, you know? Yeah, and like DJ Jones says, why aren't people so pressed about wearing a mask? It's not the biggest deal. When I was stationed in Japan, guys, those people over there, but even back then, this was like 10 years ago, they were wearing masks every day. You know, not all of them, but a lot of them were. It was part of their life, you know? So it's like I don't know, they call us the stupid Americans, but you know, we make ourselves look bad sometimes, you know? That's all I got to say. All right, this one was kind of funny. I posted this on Killer Flicks. This is one of the baddest motherfuckers to ever walk the planet. Charles Bronson. One of his movies. This isn't like a scene, like a fight. It's not even really a fight. It's just one of the most memorable tough guy scenes I've ever seen. And basically, Charles Bronson goes to this restaurant, and there's this like giant dude, like 7 foot tall, sitting in the chair. And Charles Bronson's not the tallest guy in the world, right? And so what does he do? He kicks the chair out, pulls the guy up, so the guy lands on the ground. He puts his foot on the giant's neck, and then he pulls at his nuts. And there's not much you can do after that, guys. So I thought that was hilarious. Okay. And Charles Bronson, right? Charles Bronson's like the coolest freaking guy on the planet. All right, so this one was funny. Restaurants are open, everything's back to normal. You know where that's gonna go. What a freaking scene too. I mean, that's like the perfect meme for what's going on right now, you know? Second wave, it's coming. Yeah, so yeah, spikes everywhere. And we're gonna get into the theater talk. Matter of fact, I'll probably talk about theater stuff like right after this, because it kind of wedges right in there, you know? It's crazy. Okay. How many more do I got? I think I only got like... Oh, this isn't funny. It's just something nice for you guys, you know? It's a young Jamie Lee Curtis, okay? And if that doesn't make you happy, I don't know what can, all right? Jamie Lee Curtis went in the 80s, and she just looks like a sweetheart, okay? Who doesn't love Jamie Lee Curtis? All right. And I don't think I've seen that picture too often either, you know? But, Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, man, she's give her the credit she deserves. You know, I mean, that woman has had such a great career, and she did it all herself. You know, she's an advocate. She's not afraid. You might not agree with everything she says, but she's not afraid to say it. You know, and you got to give her respect for that. So, Jamie Lee's the best. Okay, let's talk about theaters. Let's talk about Halloween Kills. Let me go back over to here. The last stream I predicted, was it the last stream? It was one of the last streams. I predicted that Halloween Kills, the trailer, would come out either the first or second week of July. We're in the very beginning of July right now. Because of our current behavior, I have to retract that. I don't think, I'm not saying the movie's not going to come out. I'm just saying the trailer, no, I don't think we're going to see it. I don't even think we're going to see it this month. I think if we see it in August, that's more doable. Francis Horror Movies and More, thank you so much. Just wanted to check in and say Lee is the man, spending time with the family tonight. Awesome, man. Tell the family I said hello. Be glad you're not in Melbourne, Australia. Entire suburbs are on lockdown. Yeah, a lot of countries, we're on complete. And looking back now, we understand why. You know, because as soon as they let people go back out, and really, it was kind of there was a couple things that caused this too. One, stupidity, and two, the protests. And the protests are a great thing. Don't get me wrong. Protests are great. It's good to stand up for your rights. It's good to get out there and have your voice be heard. But you got to be careful about it. And the timing couldn't have been worse, because with protests comes people get emotional. And when people are emotional, they make bad decisions. And I've seen pictures, and I could pull one up right now, but I'm not going to do it. But I guarantee you, I've seen pictures of protests with literally thousands of people, and they are shoulder to shoulder. I mean, right in the middle of COVID-19. And what did people say when that happened? They're going to cause the second wave. And what are we in right now? Second wave. So I think you still could have had protests. I think people, if they would have been responsible, if somebody could have led these protests and said, hey, let's get 6 feet apart. Let's everybody put on our mask. It'll make even more of a statement, actually, because it shows that we're being responsible. It shows that we're intelligent about this. And it shows that we're nonviolent. We're just trying to stand up for what we believe in. But that's not what happened at all, guys. That's not what happened at all. And I'm not going to make this like a political type of... No, I'm not a political guy at all. Okay? But I know stupidity when I see it. So... But that's what happened. And so because of that behavior, I think we're talking about a silly movie trailer, okay? Don't freaking weigh too much into this. But I don't think we're going to see that trailer this month. And even Jason Blum kind of insinuated that he's not releasing that trailer until they're 100% ready to go. Because they don't want to put it out there, and then they got to move the movie back a year. So, yeah, it's not happening. So I'm hoping August, and I'll tell you this right now, guys. If we don't see that trailer in August, that movie's being pushed back. That's a prediction on my part. You know, that's an educated guess. Okay, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm thinking if we don't see that trailer as early as August, you know, because what we got August, September, October. That's 3 months. So. Yeah, if that trailer's not out by September, then yeah, they're moving that movie back. And I never dared think that I was going to say that they were going to push Halloween Kills back. And I know they're fighting tooth and nail to keep that date. But Tenet got moved back to mid-August, and it could be moved again. You know, there's so much uncertainty in the air right now with it. Yeah, it's tough out there right now. So I mean, I've even heard talk that theaters might not even open this year at all. We might just be moving to 2021. So, that leads me to, I have a question for you guys that kind of relates to that. Okay, let me take a drink of my awesome drink that Mikey Weiss sent me here real quick. All right, God, I'm having a good time with you guys. Let me go. Did I put this over here? Let me see. Hold on. Let me check my news page real quick. Did I put that over there? No, I didn't put that over there yet. Let me go. I got to pull something up here, okay? Jeffrey Mooseman. Let's see. No, it wasn't. That was another thing I was going to show. Hold on. What was I going to show? Oh, I know what I was going to show. Here it is. Okay, so this is a news story. So let me go put this in here. Okay, this is a tweet that Caleb. Hold on. I tell you, my freaking eyes, guys. I can't see. Hold on. And I'm gonna pull this up on my end just so I can see it better. I can't. Okay, here we go. Caleb Cassio says, calling all Halloween fans, which would you rather? And I want you guys to tell me in the comments, okay? Would you rather October 16th this year have a home premiere for Halloween Kills, or would you rather them delay it a year to October 2021? What say you fine people? Curious to see what you guys think. I actually replied to him. I'll give you my answer right now. I would prefer to see this movie in the theater. Now, Holly says Darren super chat a while back. Let me go back up. Hold on. Yeah, while I'm looking for Darren's super chat, let me, answer that question for me, okay? Would you rather watch it at home this October, or would you rather see it on the big screen? And I could understand both answers to that, okay? There's a lot of variables. I'm scrolling up and I'm trying to find that. Holly, do you remember what Darren's question was? Can you, if you remember what his question was, can you type it out? Because I can only go up so far. So, Arctic Vixen Angie, how are you doing? Nice to see you in here. She said she'd like the home premiere, then I can watch it in 3D. Oh, I have a 3D TV too, and I can like make anything 3D. It doesn't make it the best 3D, but man, I haven't watched a 3D movie in ages. Let me go back over here though. Hold on. But I can understand how a lot of people would rather just watch it at home. I mean, it's convenient. You get your snacks. You get to watch it, you know, and some people have a big enough TV to where they can just enjoy it. For me, I gotta see it. I feel like I have to see that. Like, I feel like I would regret it. Like, of course, I would see it in a heartbeat at home. I'd be upset, but I mean, I'm not gonna turn it down if that's the option given to me. But you know, after I watch it, I'm sure I'd be like kicking myself, like, God, man, and plus, this would be the first Halloween movie I had not seen in the theater since Halloween 4. You know, I've seen every Halloween movie in the theater from Halloween 4 and on. So, I mean, we're talking 35 years of seeing Halloween in the big screen, and then it would be done. That would suck. I almost missed Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 on the big screen. Kevin Whitman says, what if they release on VOD and don't make enough money and see demand to produce Halloween Ends? Yeah, that's one of those variables. You know, right now, there's a lot of uncertainty as far as like what they can make on VOD. Trolls made some good money on VOD. I think Halloween Kills would make some money. They spent a little bit more on this movie than they did on Halloween 2018. Would it make a profit? Yeah, I still think it would make a profit, but it wouldn't make 250 million worldwide. I don't think it would. I mean, we're still in the infancy of VOD as far as like VOD, like completely just being an option, and for bigger movies that normally would go to the theater. This is new territory for us, So yeah, like I said, it's hard to compile that data and get good data out of it. Marcus Hicks, what are your thoughts on the San Diego Comic-Con at home? It is from July 22nd to 26th. 22nd is my birthday, actually. So they're doing I know they canceled San Diego Comic-Con this year, but so they're actually doing it from home? That's weird. Because part of the thing with conventions too is, being there, being amongst peers, that's the great thing about going to conventions. I wouldn't want to do a convention from home. I mean, I guess the closest you could get to that would be like inviting a bunch of your friends over. But yeah, Bobby Williams, man, that's a worst case scenario right there. Theaters might not exist in 2021. And right now, we say, no, there's no way. But it all depends on us, really. If we don't get this thing under control, they're not going to open theaters back up. But if I could, like the flip side of that, and here's another question for you guys, okay? I don't know why I do this every time I do it. But here's a question for you guys. Do you think a restaurant environment is any more or less dangerous than a theater environment? Like when you go to the restaurant, do you think, like, I personally think it's no different. I mean, of course it's different, the seating arrangements and everything, but a manager can control the seating arrangements in a theater just like they can in a restaurant. At restaurants, they have every other table like blocked off. Well, hell, we went to our local pizza joint yesterday, and it was fine. There was plenty of room between us. Why can't they do that in a theater? And maybe it's not the seating that's the big issue. Maybe it's the concessions. Because there's a lot of human contact with concessions. But I mean, still, they handle food in restaurants, so it kind of surprises me that they don't just say, you know what, let's just open, because they're doing it in restaurants. So why not? Maybe do a trial period. Let's open theaters and see how it goes. See if we get a turnout. See if we can control the population coming into the theater. Plus, a big thing is a lot of movies, like the bigger movies, there's like the release dates are so far out right now. And like I said, there's so much uncertainty. So if they do open the theaters, and I've seen advertisements for this, it's a lot of older movies, and I'll go see Empire Strikes Back in the theater just because I've never seen it. But we're going to be a lot more picky with seeing older movies. I've seen, like, I think Back to the Future advertised with Regal. I've seen Empire Strikes Back. I don't think we have a Regal theater around here. We have AMC. And AMC's got their own list of older movies that they're wanting to show. Chappie, he says, for me, it's still the same, but I just hope that next year we can go back to the theaters in 2021. I really miss going to the movie theater. Yeah, me too. And my point is, open them. You're opening restaurants, open the theater. You can control that environment. I think you really can. Mikey says, I flew on a plane this week, and they kept the middle seats all open, and everyone wore masks. It felt pretty safe, and they kept it strict. Yeah, I think it's all up to the management. If they can control the population, they can keep people safe, then why not? There's money to be made, so just be smart about it. That's all. Michael Stapp, no, you're right on time. You're right on time, brother. You made it. Tom Unger says, numbers are flying back up. People being impatient put us here. Theaters should stay closed just like states should. I think part of the problem, too, is some people are making this a political thing. This is not a political thing. It's not. This is a human health issue. And it's weird, and I don't want to point a finger at Trump supporters, because this could be on the liberal side too. I don't know. I haven't researched it enough. Just I've seen cases of really stupid people saying, my president thinks this is not a big deal at all, so I don't have to abide. My president's not wearing a mask, so I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm seeing stuff like that. And if some of you are Trump supporters in there, that's not what this is about, okay? I'm just saying people are stupid. I'm not saying Trump is stupid, and that's another whole conversation, all right? But I'm just saying the leader of the country, if he's not being an example to the people, then they're going to follow his suit, and that's part of the issue. That's maybe just a small percentage of the issue. You can tell I'm being very careful with my words, because like I said, I don't like talking politics at all. It's just not my thing. I'm not fully educated about politics. I try to avoid news channels if I can. I get my little updates in the morning, anything important that I need to know, and then I move on with my life, okay? Because I know that that's a conversation you're not going to win. If I get into a conversation with somebody that believes B and I believe A, I'm not going to make more than likely than not, I'm not going to make that person politically come over to the A side. They're going to stay with B. That's just because it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's an ingrained type of thing, Certain things like religion, you're not going to change people's minds. So why even get into the discussion? Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about Disney erasing the sequel trilogy. That's a crazy topic. Let's see. Have I said everything? Oh, we still got to talk about Rocky 4 too. Okay. We'll talk about Rocky 4 right now, real quick, and then we'll jump over to the Star Wars talk. Okay. Okay. First off, big shout out to Robbie Sobel. He posted this on Killer Flicks. He's like in Stallone's Instagram, and I even have the Instagram. I have the pic right here, and I'm going to show you guys. And while I'm pulling that up, also Walmart is talking about having drive-in screens in their parking lots, which is crazy. Did I not send that to myself? Usually I'll send these notes to myself so that way I can share it with you guys. Let me go over here because I want to show you. I don't want you guys to think I'm lying. But let me see. Maybe I didn't send it to myself. But if you check Stallone's Instagram, he posted it, and I hate to not show you guys. Hold on, just give me a second. I'm gonna show you guys. What I can do is I'll pull it up right here, and then I'll just hold my phone up to the camera so that way you guys can see it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so let me hold this up to the camera. So this is from Stallone's Instagram, and he's basically saying that there's a Rocky 4 director's cut, and I can read it right here. It says, I'm not doing that, but I am doing a director's cut on Rocky 4, which will be amazing, and he's got like 4 exclamation points, and that's from Sly Stallone. So he's actually working on a director's cut of Rocky 4. That's all the information we have on this. I even looked on YouTube to see if there's any deleted scenes from Rocky 4. I didn't find any. I know there's like some images, like behind the scenes images. I think in the theatrical trailer there's like 1 or 2 scenes that weren't in the movie, where I think Rocky's going to like the boxing commission to get approval, something like that. But and that was the reason why they didn't make it. They didn't sanction the fight. So there was a little scene in there. But as far as like what scenes are going to be in this, I don't know. All I know is that Rocky 4 is just a really important movie to me. It's I was 13 years old when I saw it in the theater, and I didn't know movies could have that type of reaction. from a theater experience. And I've talked about this on my channel a couple times. Rocky 4 is probably my favorite theater experience I've ever had, just because I remember seeing, if I could take you back, back then the way they promoted movies is very different than the way they promote them now. And I remember our local theater showed only 2 movies. That's it. And so I remember, they'd have like the coming soon posters up, and there was only a couple posters. And I remember seeing the Rocky 4 poster. And that was the first clue that they were making a new Rocky movie. There was no trailer at the time. There was nothing. That was the first inclination. So I remember seeing that poster, and it's just such a cool, like, let me pull up that poster so you guys, just a reminder of how cool this damn poster is. Yeah, this poster right here, let me go over to my news page. Is that it? Let me get rid of that. What did I do with that? Hold on. Well, I had it here. Freaking OBS, man. I swear to God. Hold on. Well, for some reason it's not pulling up, but I'm sure you guys have seen the freaking Rocky 4 poster. It's just a badass poster. That won't let me see it. I wanted to give you guys some visual representation, but apparently OBS isn't working with me. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Oh, well, that didn't work out. Damn it. Mother. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, so you know what the Rocky 4 poster looks like, though, okay? It's freaking badass. All right? But that's what I saw at the theater. And then I remember going to see the movie in the theater. I was on a date. I was 13 years old. I was on a date. And I remember she wasn't a Stallone fan. And so she said, I hope Rocky gets beat in the movie. She was being silly. And by the end of the movie, she was so wrapped up into it that she was like, I want Rocky to win. You couldn't help but love Rocky. Just because, Rocky as a character is just one of the most inspirational characters ever. But especially in Rocky 4, and I think that's, because Rocky 4, it often gets made fun of a little bit because there's it's got that 80s cheese factor to it, but still at its core, it's Rocky, and you love him in that movie just as much as you love him in all the other Rocky movies. He still plays that character to perfection, and I think that's why it works so well. And Apollo Creed dying, and then the fight with Apollo Creed feels much more like entertainment and bright and colorful and all that stuff. But by the time the end of the movie comes, there's like a tonal shift. It's really serious. His friend has died, so he's fighting this guy that's pretty much a monster, and he's gonna fight him on his own home turf. And yeah, it was crazy. I got a super chat up here real quick. Kevin Whitman, was Schwarzenegger going to play Drago at one point? Not that I've heard of. I've never heard that rumor before. I don't think that would have happened because Schwarzenegger was pretty big at the time. So yeah, I don't see that happening. But the fight, when these two finally went head to head, I remember when he picks up, because the first couple rounds Rocky's getting his ass kicked, and then when he keeps swinging and he punches him, and then you hear he's cut, And just the music, everything. I remember the crowd that I saw this movie with in the theater. They erupted. They just went nuts. And then Rocky picks up the Russian and throws him to the ground. And I tell you, I've never seen an audience reaction like that. Like people were, if I remember correctly, because this is almost 35 years ago, but I remember people like jumping up and down during the fight. And still to this day, I've never seen people act like that in a theater. They were fist pumping. It was just insane. And I couldn't take it. I was just like, oh my God, because I was a Rocky fan, of course, but man, I'd never had an experience like that. I'm like getting chill bumps right now just thinking about it. That fight was insane. That fight was legendary. That's probably the best boxing match ever put to film, and that's all because of Stallone and how he wanted to bring this sense of realism. Sure, in real life, if two boxers punch each other in the head that many times, of course they're going to be freaking out. But that's just, there's a difference between cinematic boxing, I guess, and real boxing. But Stallone, there's a few times in the fight where he told Dolph Lundgren, give me everything you got, because I want to get some shots where it's real. I want people to buy that we're really fighting each other. And so Dolph Lundgren punches him in the chest, because Dolph Lundgren, you see how big he is. He punches Stallone in the chest, and so his heart swells, and it's almost like the 5-finger death punch, because it's a punch that hits you, but you don't realize it until later. And so later, his heart, it swelled up. And so he had to go to the hospital. And, Stallone almost died. He was like within an inch of death. And luckily, he got to the hospital in time. But it's all there on the screen. I mean, you can see that those two are really going at it in a lot of the scenes. And you don't want Dolph Lundgren hitting you. As a matter of fact, I remember Stallone, they were talking about the Expendables. And they asked him, who is really the toughest guy out of all the Expendables? He says, no question, no joke, Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren would whip everybody's ass, and he's just that much of a badass. He's and I'm not a Dolph Lundgren expert, but I know he's from Sweden, I think, and I know he's trained in martial arts, and I think he won a few tournaments and whatnot. He's the real deal, and he's a big dude. I mean, I think he's got to be like 6'3", something like that. He's massive. But yeah, Rocky's great. And there's some people, they'll tell you Rocky 4 is their favorite Rocky movie just because of how different it is from the rest of the Rocky movies. It feels different. The score is even completely different. Bill Conti did not come back to do the score. Him and Stallone, I think, had a little bit of a falling out. And I think that kind of worked to the movie's benefit. I think the score fits better with Rocky 4. Like, I think if you had a Bill Conti score to Rocky 4, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, I guess, but the score that's there, it works. I love the soundtrack to Rocky 4. I listen to it still to this day all the time. I love Training Montage by Vince and War by Vince DiCola. I think those are great tracks. Hearts on Fire, all that stuff, man. It's awesome. So yeah, Rocky 4 director's cut. I mean, I have no clue what could be within that cut. But I want it. Rocky 4 is so important to me, and any more is good because there's very little. Like, we don't have like a documentary on Rocky 4. There's very little behind the scenes on Rocky 4 for some reason. Really on Rocky 1, there's a full documentary on Rocky 1, but I would love a full documentary on Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4. Those three movies, I don't really care about anything. I mean, Rocky 5, I don't really care for Rocky 5. I would like to know some of the behind the scenes on Rocky 5, I guess, but I mean, it seems like there's less that we know about 2, 3, and 4. So, I do know that on 2, if you watch the Rocky Balboa movie behind the scenes, there's a scene between takes where he's talking to Milo, who plays his son in the movie, and he's talking about his experience. And when Rocky 2 came out, he wanted the director of the first movie, and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank as he directed Karate Kid. You guys will tell me in the comments. But he wanted him to come back, but they had creative differences with what they wanted Rocky 2 to be. He wanted Rocky 2 to be darker. The other guy, John G. Avildsen. John G. Avildsen wanted Rocky 2 to be, Rocky going back to the slums, Rocky not being the most likable guy. He wanted Rocky to be a darker character, and Stallone was like, hell no. Rocky is not that. Rocky is a light. He's a beacon. He's inspirational. I want to keep that about the character. And so Rocky 2 comes along. Stallone had very little directing experience. And MGM, they pretty much handed him a camera and said, we need this movie, go make it. And so, it was one of those feet to the fire type deals. And Stallone is a very motivated type of person. So he went and he made Rocky 2. He directed it himself. And I think Rocky 2 is almost as good as Rocky 1. And I say the fight at the end is better than the fight because Rocky 1, it's not about the fight as much as it is about getting a shot. Everybody wants a shot at something, and more times than not, we're not given that shot. And so that's kind of what this is a guy that's pretty much washed up. He's in his early 30s in the first Rocky. His life is pretty much going down a path that he can see his future, and then all of a sudden this opportunity just steps right in front of him and says, this is something that you'll never have the shot at again. Take it if you want, if not. And he even turns it down at first. He was like, hey, you could fight the best in your profession. You could go up against the best person in your profession. Doesn't matter if it's boxing, whatever. You have one chance, one shot to be to go toe-to-toe with the best. And that's what Apollo Creed represented. So it wasn't even about the fight at the end. It was just about that shot, that opportunity. And so Rocky 2 was he's proven himself that he can go the distance. So Rocky 2 was, okay, now can I be the best? And the fight at the end is so great because Apollo Creed is full on business in Rocky 2. He's like, okay, I got to prove to the world that this was a fluke and I can beat this guy. I was just playing around the first time. And one of my favorite scenes in the franchise is when Adrian, she's down for the count. She's having complications with her pregnancy, and so Rocky he stops. He's just like, I can't do anything until we get through this situation right here. My wife, she's in a coma. Can you imagine that? And so when she comes out of the coma, though, and she says, there's one thing I want you to do for me. She says, win. Every time I watch that scene, I still get those freaking chill bumps every single time. And, the music kicks in. He goes into training. And when he's running and all those kids are running behind him, if that's not the greatest thing ever, like as far as like feeling good when you're watching a movie, man, there's no better feeling than watching all those kids run behind Rocky. That's just like, that's iconic, So, yeah, I'm hoping we get a Rocky 4 director's cut though. Rocky 4 is a very different movie than Rocky 2, obviously, but still just as good. Still just as good. I mean, that fight at the end with the Russian, Jesus, man, that's a metaphor for climbing a mountain. That's what Ivan Drago represents. It's an unachievable goal, and facing it head on anyway. I can't win. Even Adrian tells him, you can't win. His own wife, there's no way, you're gonna die if you fight this guy. And he's like, I don't care if I die. I have to fight this guy. That's inspirational right there. We don't have action heroes like that anymore. And Rocky's not even an action hero, but the character, the core of who Rocky is as a person is what every action hero should be. He's willing to give his life for his friend. That's pretty awesome. Okay, let's talk some Star Wars real quick, all right? Yeah, dang, holy crap, 9:40. I swear this flies right by. Jesus. Okay, so there was this channel called Midnight's Edge. There's this guy on the channel named Doomcock. That's his name, Doomcock. All right. You can look for it. Just type in like Erase sequel trilogy or something like that. Doomcock. But he made this video and it was pretty informative. And Disney, they're freaking out right now because the Star Wars sequel trilogy was a mess. It was a big mess, you know. As it was happening, and I'll even admit it myself, I got caught up in the hype. There was hype around all three movies. But then when, you know, after the dust settled, especially once you see all three movies together, it's probably one of the most dysfunctional, disjointed trilogies I've ever seen. It's a mess of a trilogy. 2 and 3 felt like part 2. Both movies felt like a part 2. Let me take the super chat from Ghost of John Lennon real quick. He says, "Hey Lee, have you seen the show Dead of Summer? Takes place in the 80s at summer Camp Stillwater, and then people started dying. Tony Todd is in it. I think you'd enjoy it. Worth watching." No, Dead of Summer. I don't think I've even heard of it. It's a show? Okay. What platform is it on? I'll look it up because I had high hopes for not Summer of '84. That's a good movie actually. I had high hopes for American Horror Story 1984, and that let me down big time. So maybe this could save me. But jumping back over to the Star Wars talk, it's so bad in Star Wars land right now, you know, and I think a red flag is like the figures and the toy sales and all that stuff. It's probably the worst it ever has been in terms of merchandise for Star Wars. People don't care anymore, you know. They're pretty much done with the franchise just because of the damage that was done. And really, in my opinion, what they did to those 3 core characters, Luke, Han, and Leia, I mean, they killed all 3 of them, you know, boom, 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 in all 3 movies. And of course, Carrie Fisher died anyway. So, but I think at the end of the day, if you're going to kill them, do it with some form of respect. And I think there was a little bit of, the way they handled Han was probably the best. But to do that to Luke Skywalker, I mean, it's just, and what, no matter what you think, no matter what I think, the damage is done. The ripple effect, it went far. And like I said, no matter what you think, no matter what I think, a lot of damage to that franchise. And it's so bad that even the rumor is that Jon Favreau, who directed The Mandalorian, like he even felt, this is horrible, the sequel trilogy. George Lucas himself, who legally can't say anything regarding his opinion on the sequel trilogy. That's part of the contract with the purchase agreement, with him making $4 billion. So I don't feel so bad for George Lucas. But through the grapevine, you know, George told some guy who's told some guy who told some guy, and eventually it got to us that George Lucas thought The Last Jedi was horrible. You know, no surprise there either. He and I'm sure he was gut laughing the whole way. Last Jedi, he thought it was just completely horrible. The way they handled the plot, the way they handled the core characters. I mean, even if you look at the plot of the movie, it's kind of stupid too, you know, because Star Wars, it should be bigger, you know. It's space, it's all these missions that are going on, and Last Jedi was the opposite of that. It was a standstill, pretty much, and it was Poe Dameron being an asshole. It's like they didn't really know what to do with, or maybe Rian Johnson knew what to do, but he wasn't that big of a Star Wars fan. I don't think he cared about the legacy of Star Wars. About, you know, sometimes fandom's important. You know, I know we often say we shouldn't let the fans decide the direction of a movie, but we should listen to them at least, and we should kind of gauge how important a franchise is. You want to come up with interesting ideas, but you don't want to go too far out of left field, and then you alienate your entire fan base. And that's what The Last Jedi did. That, and you could apply that to any franchise. Take like Halloween. You could take Halloween, and if they went so far as to say, let's make Michael Myers take his mask off halfway through the movie, and let's make him talk for the rest of the way. Let's do something that's completely against who Michael Myers is as a core character. The very essence of the character. Let's do something that's not about that at all. That's pretty much what they did with The Last Jedi with Luke Skywalker. And Mark Hamill will tell you that himself. He did openly. I don't think Mark Hamill gave a fuck, if I'm being honest. I think he was so pissed off with the treatment of his character after he read the script for the second movie, because remember, in the first movie, all he got to do was freaking turn around and take his hood off. That was it. So he was pissed off enough. He was like, okay, but second movie, I'm going to get to really shine, okay? So it's going to be worth it. And then he reads the script for Last Jedi, and he's like, are you fucking kidding me? So, yeah. So anyway, yeah. How can they do this now? They want to actually, and this is a huge rumor, by the way, this probably will not happen. There's too many feelings that could possibly get hurt in the way of this, but Snyder Cut's happening, and there were so many people saying there's no way Snyder Cut's ever going to happen. But I guess there's this thing called the Force, and I wrote this down here. Hold on, and there's even a scene in Rise of Skywalker where Rey is in Palpatine's, the second Death Star, and there's this like hall of mirrors, and it in each mirror kind of represents like an alternate reality. Hold on, I wrote it down right here. Hold on, let me see. Veil of the Force, that's what it was called. Creates an alternate reality. If Palpatine did in fact die, then the sequel trilogy doesn't exist. So when Palpatine falls in Return of the Jedi, theoretically, and according to Rise of Skywalker, that he lived. So, and you don't really see him die, but theoretically, he, I guess, entered one of these veils through these mirrors or whatever. No, or actually, from what I heard, there was no mirrors down there. So that's why he had all the facial damage and whatnot in Rise of Skywalker. So that's the way they could completely retcon the entire sequel trilogy. It could be under the banner of Star Wars Legends, and we could start anew. But all this, in the end, is kind of moot, because Harrison Ford, there's no way, I don't think Harrison Ford's going to come back. He never was the biggest fan of Star Wars anyway. I mean, he enjoyed the work that he did, but he wanted George Lucas to kill him off in Empire Strikes Back. So, I mean, they could back up a truck of money to his house and he might take it, but the guy's, he's no spring chicken either. He just gets, he's up there in age. So, I mean, you talk about, if they even started thinking about doing this, we're talking 5 years down the road before we even see the first movie, probably. I don't know if Harrison Ford would be game for that. Mark Hamill, he could be pretty salty right now still. I don't know. I think they might have a chance of getting Mark Hamill to come back. Mark Hamill loves the franchise. He loves the property. So that's pretty much your only hope, no pun intended, is getting Luke Skywalker back in some form. But as far as the Skywalker saga, we all know Carrie Fisher, she's gone. So why are we having this discussion now? Why are we saying we need to wipe the sequel trilogy from existence when it's the Skywalker saga? How are you going to bring the Skywalkers back? Ancestors? I don't know. Maybe that's what they're talking about. But from where I'm sitting, it seems kind of moot. Why even bother? And this, I don't think this is going to happen anyway. But I think the only reason people are talking about this is A, because it is interesting, because of people. A lot of people don't like the sequel trilogy, and B, Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut, because Snyder Cut proved to people that if the fans scream loud enough, then things can happen. And the footage, if the footage is there, of course they still have to do a lot of work in like special effects and CGI and all that stuff, but the core footage is there, I guess, for the Snyder Cut. And anything they do need to shoot, they can still get the cast to jump in and shoot. But I mean, the Snyder Cut, it's exciting because this is something that we never thought could happen. But I think the only reason this is happening is because it's Snyder's property. It was Snyder's property in the first place. It wasn't Joss Whedon's. Joss Whedon was brought in to fill a gap because either Snyder was fired or Snyder stepped out because his daughter passed away. So, if this was Joss Whedon's property, and they were, if the roles were reversed, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I don't think this would have happened at all. I think that's why this is happening, because of the demand by the fans and the fact that it is Zack Snyder's property. So, Jesus, guys, we got like 8 minutes. I've had a blast hanging with you guys tonight. Let me read some of your comments, okay? Anthony De Lorenzo says, "Sup, Lee, just wanted to let you know." Let me go back up here. That I also feel like Halloween 6 is the most atmospheric of the series and just invokes a certain feeling of nostalgia and fear. Yeah, man, I completely agree. I think Halloween 6, there's something about that movie, it feels so much different than the rest of the franchise. I think a big part of that is a couple things. One, it's in the 90s. Two, it's the Dimension films, and I think Dimension films had a certain feel to them. And I think that's why 6 looks different than the rest of the franchise, even 4 and 5. I just love the atmosphere of that movie. I just love how it just doesn't hold back. It's a little bonkers in the script department, but it's the last performance of Donald Pleasance, and he still gives it his all. You could tell Donald Pleasance, he's weak by the time he did Halloween 6. His health was fading pretty swiftly, and then he died between the shoots. When they came back for reshoots, he was already gone. So, but yeah, I mean, 6 holds a special place in my heart. Seeing it in the theater, that didn't hurt. Yeah, it's an awesome movie. I got a super chat down here. Let me go check that real quick. George Hellman says, "It's like season 8 of Game of Thrones." I'm glad you mentioned that, actually. I'll tell you why in just a sec. I say just accept it and move on with the sequel trilogy, wars and all, but bring on the Snyder Cut. Yeah. We watch Game of Thrones every year, my wife and I. And we're on we started season 1 again a couple months ago. Maybe a month ago. I mean, we've been burning through these like crazy. And we're on season 7 now. I think we're on the last episode. But man, when Jon Snow and company, they go out to north of the Wall, and they gotta capture one of the White Walkers and bring him back to prove to Cersei that these things exist. I mean, wow. That scene with, they're fighting all these, it looks like hundreds of White Walkers, and then all of a sudden, here comes the dragon with Dany riding the dragon, and just flames burning through the ice and all that stuff. I mean, this is cinema. Like, I was just like, wow. And this is how good TV is these days. Like, it's literally like cinema. It's like a movie. Like, it's like Lord of the Rings. That's how great Game of Thrones is. And I was just blown away by how great this show is. And season 8, it's definitely a rushed season. Having said that, though, I mean, if you just, season 8's still better than most seasons of any TV show out there, give or take. Of course, Breaking Bad. That's an amazing show, but season 8, it just doesn't compare to the rest of the seasons. I mean, by season 7, though, it's like, wow, this show is really firing on all cylinders. It's insane. And there's still some, like, we just watched season 8 again before we started season 1 and on. I wanted to watch it again. I was going to review the last episode. And I I guess the timing's just not right. I should have reviewed the last episode when it came out, but I was just so freaking... I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but man, the very last episode, it wasn't what I expected, and sometimes it's best is like, don't review it, or if you do review it, it's a knee-jerk reaction. It might not be my final opinion. And so it's not, my knee-jerk reaction and my feeling about the last episode now, it's different. I accept it. That's what I'll say. It's not exactly where I wanted the show to go, but I accept it. I see the cogs now. I see what got A to B to C to D after watching the whole thing. And that's what I would say. If you watched that last episode and you were pissed off, I'd say go back and watch the entire run again, and I think it'll make sense what they ended up doing in that last episode. But wow, what a freaking show. What a freaking show. Jesus. So yeah, good question. Lee, on the darker side from Jason Takes Manhattan or I Still Believe from Lost Boys for Darren. Thank you so much. All right, Darren, here's your question. Oh, I Still Believe, Lost Boys. Yeah. I mean, that's a presentation right there, right? You got the freaking oily guy and the sax and everything. Mikey Weiss, why haven't you done... You should do a picture like that, man, for your Instagram page. Get you a sax. That'd be awesome. But man, that's an easy answer. And I like the Jason Takes Manhattan song. That's a good song too. I like a lot of those songs from those 80s slashers. Teenage Frankenstein's Great Dream Warriors. I don't think you can lose. Most of those 80s tracks from those slashers they're the best. And it's like we can never find those tracks again. We'll never see those again. And maybe that's part of why 80s slashers stuck out and were so great, because of the music that was used in them. The closest thing we get to that today is like You're Next and that one song from the Dwight Twiley Band. Looking for the Magic. But it's few and far between these days, Cry Little Sister, yeah, Horror and Coffee. Yeah, man, you can't beat 80s music in 80s slashers. You can't do it. Man, guys, 2 hours just flew by. And I was like, man, do I have enough topics? And again, I didn't cover everything. And I always save that stuff for the next stream, okay? So we'll get to other stuff. I did cover a lot of ground though. But here's some things I didn't cover yet that maybe we'll talk about next time. Cursed Films, the show on Shudder. Can't recommend that enough. Kevin Whitman, will you revisit My Soul to Take? Reminds me of Scream. I don't think a revisited is necessary. I think I said everything I needed to say in that review. But I like My Soul to Take. I think it's a good flick. I haven't seen it in a while, actually, but it's a good Wes Craven movie, I think. I think it's a little underrated. Cursed Films, Shudder. Definitely check that out, man. I watched the Crow episode and the Twilight Zone episode. Holy shit. The Twilight Zone episode will really blow your hair. Like, that'll knock your socks off, okay? If you don't know the story about the Twilight Zone movie and the tragic thing that happened on the set, a couple deaths with the helicopter, man, insane stuff. Definitely check out. And the episode on the Crow, and they talk about Brandon Lee dying. The big takeaway that I get from that is these people are still to this day very affected by those atrocities some 20, 30 years later. Tragedies. That's what I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for. I was going to show, I'll leave you with this, okay? I was going to show, there's a cover to the song Creep by Radiohead, and it's by none other than Prince. And I am such a Prince fan. I'm a Prince and Michael Jackson fan, but I think I prefer Prince. I've always been a big Prince fan. I want to play a little bit of this for you guys as I say goodbye. Creep. Yeah, Prince covering Creep, because Prince, he actually loved rock music. He actually has a rock album called Chaos and Disorder. That album, he played every instrument on it, and it's got like rock guitar. Matter of fact, they asked Eric Clapton, what's it feel like to be the greatest guitarist ever? And Eric Clapton said, I don't know. Ask Prince. So let me play this for you guys. Hold on. Now I got to go forward a little bit. This is Prince. Let me fast forward it just a little bit. Hold on. I think he's about to sing.
I was here before. Look in the eye. It's just like an angel. Your skin makes you cry.
They're going to take my copyright money, but I'll make an exception for Prince. Prince can have my money all day.
This beautiful world. You wish you were special. So do I.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Man, rest in peace, Prince. Jeez, what a talent. Can you even like fathom how much talent that guy had? Like how many instruments he could play? Wow, what a musician. What a musician. So, great. That's a great thing to leave this thing on though. But thank you everybody for stopping by. I had such a great time hanging with you guys tonight. I'm already looking forward to next Thursday night. And I'm sure I'll have another bunch of nice topics for you guys. A big thank you to Holly, my wrench in there tonight, for monitoring traffic. She does a great job. Everybody give her a round of applause. It's for Holly. She does such a great job. She's awesome. Okay. Really enjoyed talking music with you guys. For the first hour, that was badass. That was fun for me. It's always fun for me anyway, but I really it's something extra when I get to talk about music that I enjoyed from my childhood. Oh my God, I could talk freaking we even talk about Kiss tonight. We'll save some Kiss talk for next week, okay? But I hope you guys all have a great night, okay? Parting is such sweet sorrow, but take care of each other. Be safe. Wear that mask. Let's flatten this curve, people. Flatten this curve. Take care of each other. Love you guys. Love you guys.